This is the final group of the day, the exchange group. So the exchange group is used to catalog the information that comes in and out of a statistical organization via exchange channels. It includes objects that describe the collection and dissemination of information. One example in this group is the administrative register. So some important information objects in the exchange group: your information provider, information consumer, provision agreement, exchange channel. And then looking closer to the exchange channel, we have the questionnaire, administrative register, statistical register, data harvest, and product. We'll go through these in more detail. So if we have the provision agreement in the middle, then your information provider agrees to the provision agreement, and your information consumer agrees to the information provision agreement. And the provision agreement governs the use of the exchange channel. The parties also use the provision agreement in order to agree on the data structure and referential metadata structure of the information to be exchanged. An information provider is an individual or organization that provides information that they have collected. For explanatory text, an information provider possesses sets of information that it has generated, collected, produced, bought, or otherwise acquired, and is willing to supply that information, both data and referential metadata, to the statistical organization. Both parties use a provision agreement to agree upon the data structure and referential metadata structure of the data to be exchanged via an exchange channel. And then your information consumer is an individual or an organization that consumes disseminated data. The information consumer accesses a set of information via a product or potentially via another exchange channel, for example, an API, which contains one or more presentations. The information consumer's access to the information is subject to a provision agreement, which sets out conditions of access. The provision agreement information object, it's the legal or other basis by which two parties agree to exchange data. So a provision agreement between the statistical organization and the information provider or the information consumer governs the use of exchange channels. The provision agreement, which may be explicitly or implicitly agreed, provides the legal or other basis by which the two parties agree to exchange data. An exchange channel is just a means of exchanging information. And in version 1.2, it was made explicit that an exchange channel can also be used for internal purposes. So it's an object that describes the means to receive or send information. And you can use different channels for collection and dissemination. For example, you could use a questionnaire and an administrative register to collect information, and you could use a product to disseminate information. So with exchange channel in the middle, you can see that a provision agreement governs the use of exchange channel. And questionnaire is a type of exchange channel, as is administrative register, statistical register, data harvest, and product. They are all types of exchange channel. Questionnaire, a concrete and usable tool to extract illicit information from observation units. This is an example of a way statistical organizations collect information. And different collection modes, in-person, CAPI, online questionnaires, can all be interpreted as new questionnaires derived from the same questionnaire specification. The questionnaire is a tool in which data is obtained. Your administrative register is a source of administrative information which is obtained from an external organization, but sometimes from another department of the same organization. The administrative register is a source of administrative information obtained usually from external organizations. It would be provided under provision agreement with the information provider. And the interesting thing about the administrative register is that it's usually collected for an organization's or operational purposes rather than for statistical purposes. So we take the administrative register in and we might change it to a statistical register to make it appropriate for statistical purposes. A statistical register is a register that is a regularly updated list of units and their properties designed for statistical purposes. A statistical register provides an ideally complete inventory of the units within a specific population and describes these units using different characteristics. One example is the Statistical Business Register, held within a statistical organization. And all the units in the statistical register have an identifier, making it possible to update the statistical register whenever something has changed regarding the units. Data harvest is looking forwards. Examples of data harvest channels would be web scraping, could be APIs, scanners, sensors, satellite data, all of those. This particular API channel has been a challenge for Statistics Norway. We used to receive tailor-made files from the tax department, giving us tax information and giving us the population data. But now the tax department has said, no, we're not sending you tailor-made files anymore. We've made an API, and now we expect you to come and collect the data that you need. So the direction of our modernization program in Statistics Norway had to change in order to prioritize still getting the data from the tax department, but via their API rather than through tailor-made files. And a product is a package of content that can be disseminated as a whole. So for statics products, you have paper publications, dynamic products, I showed earlier, that the information consumer decides themselves. I want to see these variables, not those ones. I only want to see those years and not all the years available. In both cases of the product result in an output specification, which specifies the information set of data or referential metadata that will be included in the presentation of the product. So, more information about the exchange group. What I've done is I've gone through 9 of a total of 21 information objects.